Welcome to the podcast Sales is Not a Dirty Word, where we help people feel better about sales so that they can help more people. And I'm here today with Kat Collier, and she is a tourism business coach, PR, marketing, and she's also in a Netflix series with some really cool cabins that she has built in the UK. Welcome, Kat.
Hi there.
How are you? Thank you for.
I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first ever podcast, so very exciting.
Yeah, but you were in a Netflix series, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was. They followed me around all day recording, and then they showed me for about 20 seconds of each program. But yeah, I am on there, so.
Yeah. So you are transitioning from just doing PR and marketing to also doing business strategy and also doing one-on-one coaching, correct?
Yes, yeah. So I've got my PR marketing company started. It was called Sunshine PR. And I worked a lot with tourism businesses and some national societies, things like that. But I've also since then kind of worked a bit more in the tourism sector, and people have called me in to work on business plans. My background is in business development, so I was sort of already doing it for my clients. My social media plans ended up being more engagement strategies, communication strategies, so it just seemed like a clear step.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is more important to you? Are you doing coaching, or are you still just doing business consultancy, or are you doing both?
So I have a brand new course. So I've started like a one-on-one program that I'm launching, which is coaching. So that's called Startup to Glow Up, and it's sort of the idea is taking people from their initial idea, maybe they've just started up in the last couple of months or they're about to, and to get them from that position to, where they're maybe still working in a 9 to 5 and moving that on to getting them to a place where they are, a fully fledged business owner. They're confident that their business is ready to take off and they can leave their job. Because I mean, my aims were always time freedom, financial freedom, and I know there's a lot of people out there. So, I've managed to do it myself, and I want to share that.
Very cool. So is there one that's like more of a priority than the other that you would like to focus on?
Um, well, with Sunshine Squared, it all falls under the same sort of thing. I think you can't coach people in how to do well in business if you're not able to manage your own business as well. So I've got a few members of staff that I've taken on. I've sort of had freelancers working with me for the last year, but over the last couple of months, I've taken on 2 people in the UK locally. So I want the business to be able to grow without my sort of 9 to 5 input every single day. Like I want to, I've learned to delegate, and that's a very big skill that I think people need to learn as well. So that's another thing I have to share.
Yeah.
But to be able to, work on more the high level stuff, the strategy stuff, and get people to help with kind of the day-to-day tasks is the goal for Sunshine. That leaving me free to maybe do some coaching and get people to the same place.
So it sounds like the coaching might be the priority. You've got Sunshine Squared.
Yeah, it's because it's new for me, the coaching. So I guess that's the exciting thing at the moment. So I don't want to slow down with Sunshine, but I want to business consult for myself. So I want to keep growing my business, but yeah, maybe focus on coaching a bit more going forwards.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've got Sunshine Squared, like it's good to go as far as the sales
Yeah,
process and everything.
yeah, it's all you know, it's all with and restaurants and things, and I still do blogger dinners. So yeah, it's kind of that's doing its thing, and that's allowing me to do the things I want to do with it, which is go and eat food with bloggers and like stay at nice hotels and things, so that and share that with people, and hopefully do them a favor as well. So yeah.
That really sounds wonderful. Like a great job.
Yeah, yeah. Tourism is such a good industry to be in because anything that anyone enjoys in an area is tourism. So, sometimes people don't think of restaurants as tourism, but they always are. If people are coming in and visiting, looking for places to visit, they're choosing restaurants. So, yeah, and I love food. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay, so how are you currently getting coaching clients, or have you started yet?
So I've just got one. So I've just got one who signed up to this new program, and that was literally yesterday. So
Right.
that's very exciting. Yeah, so I have my own coach. So she was kind of pushing me to go into coaching in the first place. She was sort of saying, the way you're working and all the things, I think you've got a lot to offer. And I resisted it at first, but actually, I really love the process of having a coach myself. So I thought, well, why not try it out? Um, but yeah, so I'm very new. The process is very new. Um, at the moment, I'm just trying to add value in sort of Facebook groups, which is what people tell you to do. But there's a lot of people out there doing sort of similar things, and it's not that I think I have something unique to offer, but there's so many people just commenting that if I personally was looking for a coach, I wouldn't want to ask the question because it's just too much. So I
Yeah.
guess, and I want to talk to people who would feel that way as well, I suppose. So, who I would who would understand the way I want to work as well.
So how did you find this first client that you got
Well,
yesterday?
I did comment on what she was saying, and it just happened to speak to each other. I think I went a bit more personal than I think a lot of people are doing. So, where lots of people were commenting like, "Oh, I'm a mindset coach. I'm a business coach. Here's what I can help you with." I looked at her. I looked at what she was looking at, and I saw that she was based in a place I visited on holiday. She'd named a company after just a concept that's associated with that place. So I just mentioned that to her first, and I said, I see you're trying to. She's got a virtual assistants. She's got her own virtual assistants program. So I said, I've worked a lot, used my own virtual assistants, so I feel I understand your market. Um, and if you want to chat, I'm here. And I did say, I'm brand new to this, so if you want to, we'll try it out together. And I think just being a bit more honest maybe made me stand out from the others. So
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what is the timeline of your package and what is the cost?
okay, so it's a 12-week program. So it's basically when it's got 6 different modules that take sort of 2 weeks each.
Mhm.
um, and it's currently £1,500, so that's
Okay.
British pounds. Yeah,
Yeah. So you're
but
starting
then
low.
yeah, well, the idea is I think to get 2 or 3 people in at this price, and then work up. So, but yeah, I'm offering a lot of value for that because I am sort of saying, well, we'll do the more technical things as well. So, I'll be doing an SEO audit with them, a website audit, Facebook and social media audit. So I'm using my company and my skills from my company throughout this as well. It's, I'm not just moving. That's why they complement each other, I think.
Totally. So one thing that you can do since you're just starting out is offer, I mean, you kind of already did this with the other person, your first client, so you can see that it's effective. Um, to offer like a beta uh,
Yeah,
course and at a deeply discounted rate with a ton of value in
yeah,
exchange for a testimonial at the end. Have you put
yeah.
anything on your profile asking people if they're interested?
No, not yet. I mean, this is very new,
Yeah,
so no, and that's why this is a nice time to have a chat with someone really about the sales side, because I know how to sell myself with other things, but this is new to me. So no, I've not done anything around this except spoke to this my one client. So I mean, I've got 100% success rate
yeah,
as a coach so far, so that's one thing. But yeah, that's where I am.
that's pretty cool. So
Hmm.
I would suggest maybe like I are you friending people in these groups that seem like they're in the market for a coach?
Um, I've started to. I do feel a bit nervous about just friending people
Yeah.
who, you know, I guess I feels a bit like cold messaging, that type of thing. And I always, but yeah, I probably is something I need to do. I wonder if people respond well to it. I do add people in the group who I think um, I can learn from, and like, or if I think, maybe we could connect, but not normally if I think I can sell to them.
I don't know if you should look at it like I can sell to them. So I think one of the things that is a little different about me, and I mean, you sound like a natural fit for my approach, and also just like you already kind of naturally do this,
Yeah,
is coming from a genuinely helpful place. So I don't think like looking at them like somebody I could sell, but looking at them more like somebody I could help.
yeah. Okay, yeah, that sounds much nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do honestly believe that the program there's a lot of value there, and I know I can get someone from that position to skip all those startup struggles and just be ready to go for it. So yeah, I guess that makes a lot more sense to kind of think like these are people I can help.
Yeah, so I would add people that you could help. And on your Facebook profile, you're going to want to, and in groups, offer value. Like something you'll get some good bites from working with this first client, but also like thinking about what you did and what you figured out as a solution. So for example, like, I don't know, offering up like a scope a system of processes doc or a scope of work template that people could fill in the blanks, because you're helping people scale, I think, in a big way, which is such
Yep.
a hard thing. So, or like some type of sheet with like which types of tasks can be delegated and the type of person to delegate them to,
Okay.
stuff like that. And then like the value post can be something like, a lot of people, like, this is a more generic cliche one, and you sound like a very genuine, authentic person, which is going to resonate much better than any general cliche. But like, um, don't be working. You need to be working on your business, not in your business. Is like a
Oh,
pop.
this is exactly what. So I had obviously a discovery call with my first client, and I said, that's the place I want to help her get to, which is the place that I am now getting to. So yeah, that's exactly what I want to help people with. So I can see that
Yeah.
as
So
a good tack to take.
crafting value around that bit, like, messaging around that bit is actually helpful. It's not just promotional. That's like, hey, this is something that a lot of people struggle with, and like having them have an aha moment. Anything that you can provide that gives them an aha moment, will make them interested in learning more from you about that.
Yeah,
So
I think it's interesting. I think um, trying to work out what's obvious and what's not obvious to say. So
yeah,
obviously, because I've been running a social media marketing consultancy, different brands for a while, some things that seem like really like common sense to me, I've said to people, and they're like, oh, that's a really good idea. And that's just because, I guess because I was in a corporate job, and I was in sort of quite a high level corporate job. Then I was, made my own business work, and I do project management. So I think there is probably a lot more value that I can add than I realize.
right.
So it's getting some clarity around that, I think, would be a really good step in terms of
Yeah. And I mean, I think that this current client could be a really good sounding board for you. So you can say, like, do you think that this is something that would be valuable to people? And have like, I mean, I personally have, notes on my phone, and I have like
yeah,
one note that's just like all the ideas I have that come to me.
I have exactly that. Yeah. Yeah.
So you could have a note that's just like, need to write a post about this. This was valuable to the client. Or,
Yeah.
there are some groups that will allow you to do some market research. So you could ask, like, what's the hardest thing when it comes to, what is the biggest struggle for you when thinking about scaling your business? Um,
Yeah.
and have like a poll of options, that's like delegation or hiring or management or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so doing some research on some stuff like that, and then also, I think talking to people in your life, like you should
Yeah.
ask the people around you, like, is this helpful? Like, do you think that, have you thought of this before? Like, I do that all the time. I poll like people in my life,
Okay. Yeah.
and you'll be able to find out that way, because a lot of times we do have like unconscious competencies, things that seem very
Yeah.
common sense to us. Um, so it's good to find out that. And then I think that you are you building an email list, or trying to, or is that on the?
Well, that's the plan. I haven't started yet. There are that's sort of stuff, yeah, that I kind of I know I need to do and haven't yet got to, and I think that's because I just thinking about the best ways to get started from a coach point of view. Um, so I want it to be as authentic as possible, so not too sort of sales funnily, but then I realize that is a way to get people in.
Well, I think again, the way to think about it is like what would be helpful to somebody. So you're not just like getting their email to be like, oh, because I want to sell you
Yeah,
something and this isn't actually valuable. So we talked about those templates. Like
yeah,
if you could have a scope of work template or a system of processes template that they could give their email in exchange for, because that would be really helpful to them. Or like the delegation sheet that we
yeah.
were talking about, like what tasks in a business they should delegate. And I have daily value emails that are just sales tips.
Okay.
So I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm of course like the end result is that they get so much value from you that they want to work with you. Like
yeah,
this girl clearly knows what she's talking about, but you don't have to be selling yourself. Just focus on helping people, and
yeah.
people, if they get value from you, that's selling in itself. So like my approach to selling is like, okay, you have a problem that you have not been able to solve up to this point,
Yeah.
and I can help you solve it. So we should do business. And I'm excited to help you solve it
Yeah.
because it's going to be so great, so much better for you. You're going to have so much time and more financial freedom once we work together. And then the money exchange is like a byproduct. Like the selling
Okay.
part is like a byproduct.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite a, quite a nice way to think about it. I mean, I do. Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I've always got my own coach. I do believe in that kind of energetic exchange, because I know as soon as I first invested in a coach, like I started making changes straight away because my mindset changed because you know, I was I was kind of investing in myself, so I knew I was investing, and I had to work harder for those things that I wanted. So yeah, that I think that's a much nicer way to come at it. Um, because I do genuinely quite want to help people, and I think I've got a skill set that can. So yeah, it makes sense to look at it and say, well, here's how I can help.
Yeah, like the mindset before going into a call, I always say is like, I just want to help this person. That's how you're going to go into it. And the whole beginning of the call, I always like to say, give them a compliment. Like research their business and
Yeah,
compliment them in some way. Like I love that you the way that you said this post that you made on this. Like I love the
yeah,
way that you your messaging
yeah,
um, like really gave some insight that I hadn't thought about before, something genuine. And then
yeah,
you asked, like, have you looked into working with a coach to scale your business before?
yeah,
And then you ask them, well, what did you like about it or what didn't you like about it? And when you have those questions, when they tell you what they liked about it, that's what they want you to offer. When they say what they
yeah,
didn't like about it, that's what they want you to say that you don't do. And then you ask, like, well, what do you want from this? And they'll say, oh, well, I'd like to get to the point where I have 3 people underneath me and I'm doubling my revenue a month. And you can say, after you gather like all of your information, which you'll be genuinely curious, I know, I can tell that you'll be asking them all kinds of things about their
yeah,
business. Like, what strategies have you used up to this point? What worked? Like, why do you do what you do? Like, who's your customer? Blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
Once you have all this information, then you can say, okay, I have the full picture of what you need, what you like, what you don't like,
yeah,
and what you want. And like, we are a fit.
yeah,
So let's do this. Like, when do you want to start? And it doesn't feel like selling,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like a planning session. Like, how can we get you to where you want to go, and how can I support you in that? So yeah, no, that sounds really good.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
understanding their need. Like if they feel like you understand their position, which you 100% do because you were in it, then they're
yeah,
going to feel like you can solve it.
yeah. I know. I think that's really it's really important to remember. I think I come from a background of sort of business to business sales, um, and that's so different. It's so different from kind of talking to a person. Um, it feels a lot more personal. So I think that's it's just an interesting thing to tackle for me, because I think um, when I was selling to business, or I used to sell so I used to sell inbound tourism to my home, which is Wales in the UK. So I used to, but I was so passionate and proud to talk about that. Um, it didn't feel like selling. So when I did then a sales job, I did a sales job after that, and I didn't really enjoy it because I didn't have the passion behind the product. So sort of talking to you now has reminded me of that. Like, I do have the passion behind this product. So, you know, if I believe that it has value for people, then it shouldn't feel like I'm doing anything wrong by trying to sell it,
No,
because I'm helping.
yeah, you're actually doing something right by them. So that's the thing
Yeah,
that, a lot of times I explain that it's especially so the difference between like talking to a consumer, you're actually they're actually very similar conversations, but just a consumer is going to, especially somebody who's trying to scale their business, they're scared, they're overwhelmed, they're lost, like you were just there. So you remember that mindset and you can kind of speak to that, and they could be convinced by someone who isn't going to do a quality job and might just be
yeah,
sales. Like, that happens all the time, and you're actually doing them a solid by selling them on working with you, because you're going to do a quality job for them and they're going to get the result that they want and pay for. So if you don't sell them, it's a disservice to them, because they might work with somebody very possibly that doesn't get the results.
yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a way I've never really thought about it. But yeah, you're right. There's obviously, I'm confident that I can, fulfill all the things that I promise, because I've done it before and I've seen it happen. Um, but yeah, there are certainly people who maybe have a slicker sales process, but that's what they're good at. And I've when you have your own coach, or when you're in coaching groups, and I'm in a lot of sort of business groups with people, you hear about people ending up with coaches and not getting the results they wanted. So
All
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
the time.
Yeah.
So also, it's just like, I know that I don't think, my personal belief and experience is, people don't like slick sales processes. Nobody likes to feel sold. They all like buying
Yeah.
something, but they don't like to feel sold. So I think that your natural approach of being like authentic and real and transparent and honest is a lot more effective than these like slick sales processes, because people can tell that they can trust you, because you're not being false about anything. It's really true that you can help them with what their problem is, and they can feel that, and that sells much better than any slick sales process.
Yeah. Okay. No, yeah, I can really understand that. And yeah, I don't like feeling like, because I know the sales strategy, so I don't like seeing them that much when, people are doing countdowns, or, oh, if you pay right now, it's going to be very different than if you wait till tomorrow, because, I understand what they're doing there. And it does put me off working people. So I guess that's, yeah, I guess I'm wondering if I need to be slicker with my process, but I probably don't. You're probably, I probably just need to keep showing up and being authentic with people and telling them what I have. And if it's right for them, then it's right for them.
Well, don't tell them what you have until you completely understand them.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
you can tailor fit what you have to their specific needs. Because if you just talk about what you have, you might end up talking about things that they don't necessarily need or care about.
Yeah.
Want to know what they need and care about first, and then only talk about those things.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah. And then also, there was something, oh yeah, I do think that, the plain fact for doing business with you right now is that they would get results sooner than later. So
Yeah.
obviously, like, there's a sense of urgency
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And then also, like, your beta program isn't always going to be this price. So
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't want you to feel weird about telling people that, because you need to give them that information because it's true,
Yeah.
and they need to make a decision. Like, that's just not trying to be like pushy or weird or salesy. It's just the facts, and I want to let you know ahead of time so that you know
Okay.
you're.
Yeah. Because that's once I've had a couple of people in, like, the price will go up because it's a lot of work for, what I'm offering is worth worth more than what I'm currently putting it at. So, but that's because I want to get some people in, and I want to, I want to be able to actually chart the results from what I've devised, and make sure I'm giving people the best version possible.
Yeah, so communicating that in that way doesn't feel like high pressure. It's just like, I just want you to be aware.
Yeah.
Like, I
Okay.
would hate to not tell you that, and then you come back and it's a different price. Like, so just want to let
Yeah.
you. And then another thing is you said you will help people do it from scratch, but I will tell you that helping them scale will,
Yeah.
I feel like helping them scale is number one, not as saturated,
Yeah.
a scaling coach. And number two, they'll have money. Um,
Yeah. I did sort of, I was talking to my friend, I was like, the problem is this market doesn't currently have money. So,
it's,
yeah, but yeah, I mean, yes, I guess you're right with the sort of the startup. I want someone, I suppose, who already has the idea, the business on the ground, because that's where we can scale up from. So maybe I am trying to be too broad, and I should focus on exactly that, the startup that's just getting started, but does want to grow and does have the, they know they can grow.
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I had a digital agency before I started doing this sales coaching thing,
Mm.
and the growth pains were so painful. I didn't know what to do. Um, I ended up, that wasn't the only reason that I didn't want to do the agency, but it was apparent that the only way I could grow is by scaling. Like I needed to build out a system of processes and I needed to hire people, and I just didn't want to. Um,
Yeah, okay.
so that was one of the reasons, but also like I just didn't have as much of a love for it as I do helping people close business.
Yeah,
So I think that's a real, real problem. I mean, I know it is. A lot of people, they
yeah,
don't want to build out a system of processes. They don't know how to get the stuff in their head onto paper in a way that somebody else
yeah.
can understand it. So,
I, what was a big motivator for me, moving from my business being just my baby and only I worked on it, was that I realized there's very much a glass ceiling if you have if you're trying to grow your business but you're sort of doing jobs that take up all your time, then you just have no time to grow your own business, and you also can't go any further because there's only so many hours in the day for you yourself. So if you want to grow and you want a sustainable business and you don't want to just be, because I got to the point where I was just taking on more jobs and working more hours. So I would work for 10, 11 hours a day easily, and I would work 6, 7 days a week because
right.
that was the only way to get more money into my business. um, but then I had no time to do anything. I had no time to invest that money back into my business and grow because I couldn't take anything on. I had no space to take anything more on. So it's yeah, that's what I'm excited to help people with, to say, well, that's where you're at now and you're making money, but it can't go any further because of your resources and your time, and
I
scale it from there.
the even deeper pain point, because yes, that's true, and yes, people want to scale, but it sounds like work. I think positioning it like you're working too much and you're not enjoying your life. So
Yeah.
scaling not only make you more money to grow, but you finally will stop working 11-hour days.
Yeah, I mean, people don't start businesses because they want to work, 80% of the time. They start it for the dream of working for yourself, managing your own time, being able to work from anywhere. So those are the things that's why I've done it. And, I've got very clear goals that at the end of this year, I will be taking my business abroad. Like, I want to go and travel, and I want to be able to do those things, from the road and just checking in on my business rather than spending 6, 7, 8 hours at a desk every day.
So all of this that we're talking about here is like great content for you to put on
Okay.
your profile. Like
Okay.
this is why you should scale. You know where they were right before, so you can speak to their current position.
Yeah.
And you can speak to their dream. Anytime that you're
Yeah.
talking to them, you really want to speak to the end result more than the how. So, like, yes, scope of work, system of processes, delegation, those are all the how
Yeah.
there, but focus on like, we are going to free up your time
Yeah.
and make you more money
Yeah.
when you scale. Like, and that is what's going to sell anybody. And it's not selling in a creepy way because you're really going to do that. They just need
Yeah.
to remember because all this stuff sounds awful. I don't want to do any of that.
No, I know. Yeah, even when you were talking and you were saying, even I felt, when you said sort of standard procedures and delegation, I was like, yeah, but you can buy a book to do that. Um,
Yeah, but people just want that. I still think the template would be valuable because it's like,
Oh yeah, I think it's worth having such certainly downloads because those people are searching for it, so they're already in that mindset to look for it. They already know that they need, a standard operating procedure, so they're searching for it. So yes, I do agree there's value there, but I think what I want to sell to people is what, yeah, as you say, the end result, which is the ability to travel, the ability to live your life, the ability to enjoy your life. So,
yes, because life is about life. It's not about work. And a lot of people
yeah,
get caught up and they just work. And
yeah,
it's so unenjoyable.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think that if you focus on that scaling person, that's going to be a lot, more lucrative, and you'll have a lot less frustrating calls. So
okay,
I would recommend, I mean, it's hard to say because you haven't had a lot of leads, but you do want to avoid getting on a call with somebody who maybe can't afford you, which is a common one, or any other information that you need to know before getting on a call, because you could be spending that time to produce more content or create more landing pages instead of talking to somebody who's like, and it's honestly respectful of both of your time because they're wasting time talking to you too because they can't afford whatever.
yeah. How would you navigate that then? Is that just being clear about the price, from before we even get on a call?
So usually you send them to an application for a phone call. And
Okay,
there's a couple of questions on it. It's just like a survey, basically, where I think in your case, it would be like, what's your monthly revenue right now? And what's your monthly revenue goal? So you
okay,
see
yep,
where they are and where they want to go. And by where they are and where they want to go, how much and how much they're willing to invest to get there.
yeah, okay, yeah, that's useful. Yeah, because I've just been setting them up because I've not, I've just been setting them up on Facebook Messenger at the moment and saying, you know, so I think that sounds much more. Give me a bit more details before I even go into the call and help me see if there's a fit. I think that would be, yeah, really useful.
Yeah, so you can just ask it in Messenger if you feel weird about sending them to a form, but eventually, like, you're going to have so many people that you're going to need
Yeah,
that'll bottleneck the process for you and
yeah,
take up your time to be messaging people those questions. It's much easier to just
yeah,
send them to the form. So I'm really excited for you. I think that this is going to be an incredible business for you. And I think that you've got a great target audience and a fantastic sales process, and people are just going to love working with you. So
yeah.
don't forget to offer that beta thing on your profile and to
I
add
will.
people who you think could benefit from the content you're going to be putting on your profile.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I think the term scalability coach or that kind of idea is. I've been just saying business coach. So I think that sounds much better and much clearer on what I'm actually trying to do. So yeah, thank you. I thought I'd done all the exercises around sort of who my audience were, but I think I needed someone else's input there. So yeah,
Yeah,
great. Thank you.
absolutely. There's a ton of business coaches. So any way you can like differentiate
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
important. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on. It was so great talking to you, and I can't wait to see your business just grow.
Yeah.
So
No, thank you for having me. It's been, yeah, really useful. And yeah, I'll keep you updated on the journey.
okay, good. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you on the next episode.